Unlock your wealth. When you open up Unlock Your Wealth in this webinar, what I'm going to be doing, it's very interesting what's blocking the system. So it's clearing money blocks. Now, for example, if there was inheritance, and when I say inheritance, I'm talking about your entire ancestral line. So someone along there definitely took something in. So when you inherit a property or an inheritance, and if you don't do it consciously, you're inheriting their character, their unresolved topics, their addictions, their sharp temper, their gambling, for example. So you can use inheritance now to transform and bring peace into the system, bring calm into the system. For example, if you don't clear the inheritance, you may get a nice building, but you may not be able to sell it. It will be locked in the system. So it's very important on how you take on an inheritance. And what I want to open up in this webinar is that we do it for all our ancestors because they didn't have the consciousness to do it. And then I'm going to show you how to do it consciously so you can resolve inheritance topics from your ancestral line on both sides. So you're not affected and the children are not affected because it's the next generations that will be affected by it. For example, say your parent says, okay, we're going to give this inheritance between you, all siblings, equally. And then say one sibling doesn't have children. So you say, okay, well, I'm going to take that portion and give it to the ones who have the children. So that is not okay in the system. For example, if, who's to say that child isn't going to have a child later, or if, there may be children coming in later. So you're dividing unfairly in the system. Now, if you give the inheritance to the ones with the children, and there's one left standing that has been taken from their portion, it means that you're cursing the children who will then receive the money, the inheritance or the property, meaning the next generation. So we are the next generation. So what's in our systems? And that creates financial blocks in the system. So I want to really bring you through a journey of cleaning ancestral inheritance. So you open it up in a clean way and you bring the wealth, ancestral wealth, into the system. Our ancestors created wealth, so it will be used efficiently and it makes change for the future generations, for you. They want that, but they don't want the money blown, spent wisely. Plant seeds. So inheritance is very important on how you open up and how you receive inheritance. So it's in all our systems. Some of us have maybe say, oh, I don't accept inheritance from my parents because they were not good to me. Now you've broke with the gifts from the ancestors because you turned your back on your ancestors now. Do you see what I mean? So taking the inheritance can be a great thing, but it also can bring in some negative things as well. Disconnecting from the inheritance can be a good thing because you're disconnecting from the bad parts, but then you're missing all the good parts. So if you do inheritance consciously, correctly, it can be abundant and will bring financial success. So that is just one of the topics we're going to address in this weekend's seminar on opening up your wealth and clearing all the belief systems around money, holding money, using money, valuing money, disrespecting money, procrastination, hoarding, stinginess, guilt, shame around money, and rich. If you're rich, you can't get through the eye of a needle, as I was told in my childhood from the Catholic religion. So there's caps in the system, or ancestral caps, or financial caps about how much you can earn each week, each month, each year in the system. So let's open up the system and bring in complete abundance, because as creation, it will work in a very, very expansive way, because creation is a snowball effect. It always brings new fruits. It's planting a seed and then bringing fruits in. Example as well, what did you do with your first wage pack? That's also important. I know I was blessed because my mother asked for it and it was correct. I felt good about it. Was that my first wage pack I gave to my mom and then she gave me some back. So that is like giving the blessing back to the ancestors that, you know, I'm here because of you. I can work because of you. And I want to give you something back to a family member, a blood relative who's my mom or my dad. And then they spend it on taking care of the house or whatever they want, but you make the ancestors happy. And then what do you spend your first wage on yourself? What portion is for you? Do you blow it in the pub? Do you spend it unwisely? Well, that is your foundation for the rest of your life because now you've money and it just flew from your hands. So how you spend your wages are very important on the first wage back as well. So do you see the way inheritance or how you handle the first money is really, really important. So in this webinar, don't worry if you didn't spend it wisely. If you drank the money or blew the money, we can change the whole system. So I want to support you to do all this consciously and give you the gifts of consciousness so you can do it wisely and manage money wisely and handle money as seeds for planting forests for the future. So good investments, good foundation. So releasing the slave of imprisonment from debts, loans, mortgages in the system. So I'm going to have a lot of information to share with you, a lot of keys, a lot of consciousness to do things consciously that your ancestors couldn't do, and then we'll do it in the name of the ancestors. So it's going to open up systems and flow and open up your wealth in a brand new way and expand you in a new way. You will feel different. So I invite you to be part of this offering. If you'd like to clear any ancestral blocks around your wealth and open up abundance in a conscious way and clear what is it from your epigenetic and your own system, your own life choices, and how you address money and handle money. Are you comfortable with it? How do you respect it? Let's look at the system deeper. Very big fields of information to open up. That's why it's 4 webinars. And I want to go as detailed as possible through the fields so you're left completely open for abundance and wealth. So maybe I see you at the webinar if you'd like to open up more abundance. Thank you.